Okay, the question is, what is it like to live this way? Meaning, what is it like to live, you know, 5.5, 6 years into a spiritual awakening versus how I lived before? Which I've been wanting to write about or talk about. So I've been kind of trying to like contemplate and journal and meditate on it. And I've been getting hung up and feeling kind of blocked and not really been able to make any progress on it. And I think I've realized why. I think I was looking for examples for how my life looks different kind of from the outside, which it doesn't look that different on the outside. I mean, for sure it does, but compared to the difference on the inside, the outside does not match that at all, which is frustrating, but it's just part of the deal, baby. So that will start to change. So what I am realizing is that what's different about living now versus how I lived 6 years ago is I am now living from the inside out, opposed to the outside in, where you let the 3D world affect your inner world, or where you're going out into the world around you looking for things that you feel like you're missing on the inside. And then, we see the pattern of going out and looking for things and seeking and reaching and addictions, things like that. We never are satiated. We never quite have enough because we're not doing any of the same kind of work on the inside. So I would say the inside needs to at least be done in tandem, if not kind of first. And what's really interesting about this internal change is I knew that it needed to happen and I knew that it was coming, but I personally, Becca, I kind of didn't do a damn thing about it. I mean, I thought I needed to, and there were times for sure when I thought I was doing something about it, but so much of the inner changes that I've experienced were done for me. That is just what happens when you move in flow with life, with evolution, with God, which is a flow. It is a way. And your inner world will transform. And it does take a little bit of time before your outside world starts to match. But I will say that over this past winter, from about October to February, I sort of hibernated. I had some tough stuff going on. I got kind of knocked on my ass. And instead of getting up, I just kind of decided I'm going to stay here for a little bit. And I just kind of, from down there, I just got curious and I just started kind of observing and looking around, and it feels like it was complete grace that I was able to do that at this point in my life. But the experience of that difficult situation from this new vantage point of non-resistance and allowance and a sort of like observing, the observer, I apparently was ready for that type of experience, and I did it. I was able to do it, which if you would have asked me a year ago if I could have handled that situation that way, I would have said absolutely not, and then I would have had a panic attack. So, and I didn't do a darn thing. I mean, sure, I've meditated, sure, I've thought about this, sure, I've prayed and read books, but like the inner working itself was sort of done for me. I don't even know how to make sense of that. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just a part of this natural unfolding that happens if you allow it. So my inner landscape has now really turned into this sort of like vibrant, colorful space where there's like a playful curiosity at all times of what's going on. And it doesn't mean that I can't be swept under by something. It doesn't mean that nothing affects me. It doesn't mean that I might not react in certain ways that aren't totally aligned at times, but it's still, it's a shocking difference in how I show up and move through this world, essentially. And I can see, even though it's happening slowly, I can sense very much that this change in my internal landscape is projecting out into my reality. And it's really a fantastic feeling. It has done wonders for regulating my nervous system. Like, I can't even explain how much more comfortable I am in my body when I'm not allowing my external circumstances to dictate my internal landscape, if that makes sense. So that's it. That's what it's like right now. It hasn't always been that way, but 5.5 years in, that's what it's like to live this way. Thanks. Bye.